It started very good the week. I'm talking about hopefully it will be good until the end. Hello, welcome to the show. This is our Parliament Special Committee investigating the bribery scandal at the Appointments Committee resumes sitting. Key witnesses Muntaka Mubarak and others alleging they were offered the bribe will come face to face with the alleged giver, Boachie Jako. Also in the news today, we look ahead to President Akufo-Addo's State of the Nation address to Parliament tomorrow. We'll be here with lots and lots of analysis. And of course, there's a face-off at the Adringano here in Accra. A group claiming to own lands there are this afternoon pulling down structures they say were illegally erected. Well, those are the top stories, and we will be live at Adringano. We'll also be live in Parliament. My name is Gifty Ando-Apia, and this is The Pulse. Please be my guest. All right, let's start now. This afternoon, Parliament Special Committee investigating the bribery scandal at the Appointment Committee is reopening its probe. Key witnesses Mahama Ayariga and Samuel Okujetua Blakwa, who together alleged that they were offered the bribe, will come face to face with Chairman of the committee, Joe Osei-Wusu, and Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak. Also making an appearance is the man at the center of the whole controversy, Boachie Jako, who is now Energy Minister. We'll hear from these and some of the key individuals shortly. But first, let's go over to Parliament. Our parliamentary correspondent, Joseph Opoku Gakpo, is standing by for us. Hello, Gakpo.
Hello, Gifty. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I trust that you're doing well where you are. Now, first, bring us up to speed with preparations for today's hearing.
Well, the proceedings are just about beginning. The chairman of the committee, Joe Osei,
I can hardly hear you, Gakpo. It would be good if you raise your voice a little. Is that possible?
Well, if the situation is that the committee has been duly constituted and the chairman of the committee, Joe Osei, has just announced that the sitting is about beginning. We have all the members of the committee, the 5 of them seated. A while ago, I saw the Honorable Mahama Ayariga walk in. And so the committee is duly constituted and the chairman, Joe Osei, is speaking to the members who are gathered here and also members of the press who are gathered here. We can take a listen to him, even as they await Mahama Ayariga, who is one of the key witnesses, to walk into the session any moment from now.
Okay, well, Gakpo, I can see in the video we have right now, Mahama Ayariga being led to take an oath. I guess that it will be time, a good time enough to go over to hear from him, from what he has to say. Well, let's go to Parliament and see how it goes. We'll get back to you, Gakpo, for more details.
And so the Honorable Mahama Ayariga has...
And so the Honorable Mahama Ayariga...
Okay.
The
chairman of the committee, Joe Osei, is conferring with other members of the committee. Any moment from now, Mahama Ayariga would be asked to take an oath, after which his testimony is expected to begin here at the sitting of the committee investigating the bribery allegation.
Has he seen the video?
Yeah, he said it was so bad.
Okay, so that is the parliamentary, the special committee investigating the bribe allegation in Parliament. And as you can see in your visuals, Mahama Ayariga, whose comments actually triggered the whole investigation, is seated. Okay, we can listen to them now.
A witness before this committee. And this committee was established under Order 191 of the Standing Orders. First of all, I want to remind you of your right to counsel and ask you whether you want to exercise that right.
No, I am not appearing with counsel.
Thank you. Now, the terms of reference of the committee that was given to us are as follows. First of all, do you have a copy of the terms?
Yes, I have a copy of the transcript, and in the transcript, you make reference to the terms of reference.
I think the letter that was written to you also has
Yes. The terms of reference.
But let's just remind ourselves. One, to establish, I'll wait for you to take your copy. Have you got your copy?
So, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. To establish if First Deputy Speaker Joseph Osei Usu took money from Energy Minister Bwacha Ajako and gave it to Minority Chief Whip Alhaji Mubarak Mohammed Mutaka. 2, to find out whether there were attempts to bribe members of the Appointments Committee. And 3, to look into the remit of the complaint of the Honorable First Deputy Speaker and the assertions he made on matters affecting his standing. These are the 3 terms of reference given to us. Let me remind you also that this committee is restricted to dealing with matters that have been referred to it under its terms of reference. We are bound by it. And so if you proceed outside it, we'll be compelled to bring you back on course. Honorable Ayariga, what do you have to say in reference to the first term of reference?
I don't get you, Chairman. Are you asking me to comment on the propriety of the terms of reference, or are you asking me to go into the issues?
We want to give you the opportunity to state what you know about it, about the terms of reference, starting with the first. Rather than leading you evidence, the procedure will be that we give you the opportunity to say what you know about the first term. That is whether Joseph Osei Usu took money from Bwacha Ajako and gave it to Alhaji Mohammed, Honorable Alhaji Mohammed Mubarak Mutaka. And then as you are giving your evidence, if there's a place that we need clarification, we may ask you. So the question is that we've been asked to establish whether First Deputy Speaker Joseph Osei Usu took money from Minister for Energy, Honorable Bwacha Ajako, and gave it to the Majority Chief Whip, Honorable Mubarak Mohammed Mutaka. What do you say about that?
Mr. Chairman, I think this started on the 27th of January, on a Friday, and Radio Gold, I think online and also during their news, put out some breaking news and indicated in that news publication that it is alleged that Honorable Bwacha Ajako had brought money to the Appointments Committee, and that money had been rejected by members of the minority. And this was in the news in the afternoon, and it was circulating on social media. And then I received a call from the radio station saying that they have this news and they want to interview me as a member of the appointments committee, whether or not I knew anything about the news that they had put out already. So I obliged them, and at 5 o'clock, when they called me, they asked me what I knew about it, and I did confirm to them that, yes, it's true. I'm a member of the appointments committee on the minority side, and that I had been asked by my whip to come for some money in the office. I had gone.
Who is your whip, please?
Honorable Muntaka Mubarak. And I had gone to take the money from his office. And then subsequently, there were rumors that the money had come from Boachi Ejako, now Minister for Energy. And so we tried to find out.
Honourable Member, please, when you were absent, every time they referred to you without the Honourable, I stopped it. So please, formal reference to people.
Okay. Well, now Honourable Boachi Ejako.
Yeah.
And then we wanted some investigation to be conducted by our caucus. So we asked our minority whip, Honorable Muntaka, to go and find out. And he came back to us confirming that the money is said to have come from Honorable Boachi Ejako. And then it came through the information he got, he told us, came from the chairman of our committee. So we said, well, if that's the case, then the funds should be returned. We had assumed that the money was the normal committee allowance. And so if it was not the normal committee allowance, the funds should be sent back. And then that was it. That was what I said on Radio Gold. Radio Gold wanted to find out whether I thought the money was bribe. And I said, well, I haven't done any business with Boachi Ejako, Honorable Boachi Ejako. And so I can't tell that it is dividends that he's sharing with me and etc. So that was the end of the interview. And then later in the evening, I heard some news reports to the effect that I had withdrawn my statement made on Radio Gold and said that either I or my colleagues and I had made it up to politically equalize because Honorable Boachi Ejako had accused ex-President John Dramani Mahama of corruption, and so we're engaged in a corruption equalization. So I said no. I didn't say I was withdrawing what I said on Radio Gold. And so the following morning, I got a call from, in fact, it was Joy FM Online that put up the story that I said that I had withdrawn, and it was the chairman of the committee who said that in an interview. So on...
chairman of what committee?
The appointments committee, sir.
What's the person's name, please?
Honorable Joe Seuzu.
Thank you very much.
So he is the one who granted the interview and said that, but he also said it on the floor of the House on Friday. So that was the basis.
Friday, what date?
27th of January. So the following day, a couple of media houses called me because they made reference to the interview I granted on Gold FM, and then they made reference to the my Joy Online story, which said I had said that we had made it up, and I said no. So I repeated what I said on Radio Gold on Joy FM, and also repeated what I said on Radio Gold on City FM, and I think TV3. Those were the main stations that I spoke to on the Saturday. And subsequently, I got a call from somebody else that the Honorable Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Muntaka Mubarak, who I had said during the interview was the person who took the funds and brought to us, had also gone on air to deny taking money from the chairman of the Appointments Committee, Honorable Joe Osewusu, and given to us. So when Honorable Muntaka went on air and denied, I said, well, so I just kept quiet about it. And then on the following, the Monday, 27, 2020, I think that would have been 31st of January. On the 31st of January, my colleagues and I, that's myself, Honorable Alasan Suini, and then Honorable Samuel Okuchetu Ablakwa, sent a petition to the Right Honorable Speaker asking him to carry out an internal inquiry because the matter had generated quite a lot of public interest. And since then, I have not spoken publicly about the issue.
I just want to put on record that what we are doing now arises out of the proceedings of 31st January 2017, where there was a statement by Honorable Joe Osewusu and another statement, I believe, by Dr. Afriye, MP4.
No, it's not Scott.
Yes. And it's a result of this that both the minority and majority agreed to the establishment of this committee. I know you agree with me that there cannot be a multiplicity of suits or investigations. And so this investigation is being held at the instance of the House by virtue of what was agreed in the House, adopted by the Speaker, by motion. And so we are not investigating the petition you sent. But I know that because you seek to achieve the same thing, you have nothing against this committee. That's why I appear before it. Am I right?
Absolutely. I think it's meant to achieve the same objective. When we petition the Speaker, we ask for an internal inquiry. That is an inquiry within the House by whatever means. And I think that looking at the rules of the House, this process is clearly within the contemplation of the rules of the House.
Thank you. We have with us transcripts of the Radio Gold interview, as well as transcripts of the interview that you did with Joy FM. We are going to give you copies because we want to ask you questions based on the transcript. We'll give you copies and give you 5 minutes to look at it. Okay. Well, they are bringing the copies. In the meantime, if any other members of the panel have anything.
Let me just say, if you have the transcripts there, you can proceed with your questions because I think I can recall.
You recall what you said?
What I said, yes.
Okay. You said in the interview with Radio Gold that we started hearing rumors that it was not allowances that should be given to us from Parliament. Do you still agree with that?
Yes, it started first as rumors, and so we asked for an investigation. We asked our minority whip to go and then check and then come back and report to us.
Thank you. Oh, yes, you can.
Honorable, in your interview to Radio Gold, I'm quoting exactly paragraph 2. And it reads, and so either yesterday or a day before yesterday, our minority chief whip, Honorable Alhaji Mohammed Mubarak Muntaka, called us to say that a chairman had brought some money, and so we should pass by and pick our money. Do you still stand by this?
Yeah, sure. I mean, that happened. That happened.
Now, on page 6, in your interview with Joy FM, to a question by Mr. Ayeni that Bwacha Ajako is swearing on his life that he never did any such thing, would never do such a thing, your answer was yes. So I'm saying that I never dealt directly with Bwacha Ajako. If you notice from my narrative, I did not say I dealt directly with Bwacha Ajako. Do you still stand by that?
Absolutely. I never dealt directly with Honorable Bwacha Ajako. So, Chairman, if you may also add Honorable to Honorable Bwacha Ajako's name.
Before he continues, let me deal with that. I'm quoting you, and I want to quote you verbatim, because I know if I didn't quote you verbatim, you would correct me. But I'll take your advice. Let me ask you a follow-up. Oh, that was meant to dislodge me. I'm not easily dislodged. I don't lose my focus easily. Now let me ask you another question. So did Honorable Bwacha Ajako, did you ever talk to him on the phone about this?
Never. I've never in my life spoken with him. Never. The first time I was seeing him was when seeing him physically as a politician, as somebody who goes on air and in the media. You see him on television and on radio. But when he appeared before the committee was the first time I was physically engaging him.
Okay. Now, that you said, that is right. Then you said further on the same page 6. And if you notice from my narrative, I did not even say I dealt directly with the chairman of the committee. Have you noticed that from the fact? Hello, that's what you said.
Yes, I never dealt with the chairman of the committee either on the issue of the money. As I indicated, it was our whip who asked us to come and take it. And as I indicated, he was the one we asked to find out the source, and he was the one who told us the things that I said on air.
Now, following on that question and answer, I'm referring to column 659 of the Hansard of 31st January 2017. And I'm quoting part of the statement of Honorable Joe Osei Wusu. And it goes, Mr. Speaker, let me repeat here, for the avoidance of doubt, that I, Joseph Osei Wusu, Member of Parliament, MP, First Deputy Speaker and Chairman of the Appointments Committee, have never discussed, requested, demanded, or received money of whatever quantum for myself or committee members from Mr. Bwacha Ajako or any other person for that matter. Does this position of the Honorable Joe Osei Wusu's statement fall in line with your interview to Joy FM that you have also never dealt with Honorable Bwacha Ajako and Honorable Joe Osei Wusu?
I think I've consistently said that I never dealt with the two people.
Honorable, at the time the said money was given to you, was it explained the purpose for which the money was being given to you? The alleged money.
Yeah, that's better.
The alleged money.
That's better. Yes.
Was given to you. Was it explained the purpose for which, at the material time that you allegedly took the money, was it explained to you the purpose for which the money was given to you?
As a member of the appointments committee, we normally will sit after nominees have left and discuss the nominees and take a position on them. If we have to vote, we vote on them. And at the last sitting before this incident, issues had been raised about allowances to members. And at that sitting, the chairman of the appointments committee had given members of the appointments committee, and this was the entire appointments committee, assurances that he had raised a memo and that he was very sure that very soon the Speaker's office will release the funds for us, because we had complained bitterly that we had sat on Saturdays, we had sat somewhere to 11 p.m. in the night, and sometimes even food was not prepared for members. So members were very angry, and he calmed members down, assured them that he had raised a memo, prepared a memo, submitted it, and he was assuring us that he was going to get us money very soon as allowances. So when our chief whip, and the whips normally deal with the allowances and welfare issues of members. So when our minority chief whip called me and said, the money had come, I immediately assumed that that was the allowance that the chairman of the appointments committee had told us he was working on.
First of all, Honorable Ayariga, I want to understand what happens in the appointments committee. When a person finishes, when the nominee finishes, as soon as the nominee leaves, you take a decision. Is that correct, or is not correct?
It depends on the program for the day. When a nominee finishes, we don't take a decision on him or her. We wait till the end of the day.
Okay, so then you take a decision.
Then we take a decision on all the nominees who have appeared before us on that day.
Thank you. So, in this case, on that day, at the end of that day, you took a decision on Honorable Bachajako. At that time, he was not honorable yet. He had not been sworn in yet, but now he's honorable. Did you take a decision on him?
On that day, a decision was not taken on him. There was division between the minority and the majority. The division was between two nominees, Honorable Yao Safo Mafo and then Honorable Boache Jako. The minority side had issues with the two nominees, and the minority did not support the approval of the two nominees, subject to some issues that the minority had raised. On the basis of that, a decision was not taken. It was agreed that the two of them should furnish the committee with further and better particulars regarding those two issues that the minority had raised. In the case of Boache Jako, I think one of the issues had to do with the number of floating gas floating storage and regasification unit, the number that were purchased under the NDC government, and also the question of whether or not the World Bank was breathing over his neck and all that. Then in the case of Honorable Yawasaf, there was something that...
Don't worry, let's just deal with Honorable.
Yes. So on the basis of those issues, there was no decision. The decision was that we should defer taking a decision on them that day so that we would work on each other and then try and get the additional information needed. So that was what happened.
But as you were leaving that day, from what I hear you say, the majority was in support of approving him, and the minority had reservations. They wanted clarification on some issues. So they were not, in that present state, the minority were not going to support it. Am I correct?
That is so. That evening, the minority were not willing to support their approval. So that was why we deferred a decision on the two of them. The entire committee deferred a decision on the two of them.
Okay. Now, what came finally to the House from the Hansard? The report that finally came to the House was a report of the majority. The position of the minority did not change. Am I correct? By the time the report of the committee came to the House, it was still a majority seeking to approve and a minority not at a meeting of minds with the majority. So it was a majority decision. It was not. It was the report indicated a majority decision and not unanimous. Am I correct?
Yeah. So that problem lingered on for a while until the report was written, and the leadership on both sides kept meeting over the matter because they requested for additional information from Honorable Boache Ejako, and then they requested for further explanation from Honorable Yao Safumafo. So the leadership kept meeting about the report itself and how the report should be written, and there was no consensus up to the point when the report was written and laid. And up to the point when the motion on the report was to be taken, there was still no consensus. But in between, leadership had some discussions, and that was when Mr. Speaker asked that key leaders on both sides of the Appointments Committee should go out and see whether, even at the very last moment, we could still not come to a consensus so that there won't be a need for a vote on the matter. And so we went into conclave, and there we're able to come to some consensus because the information that we requested, substantial portion of it had come. We had gotten confirmation, and then some of the issues that the minority had, and the two nominees withdrew some statements that they made, and then on the basis of that, there was agreement that we should approve them by consensus.
So the reason why you agreed to approve them by consensus is that, let me just deal with Honorable Boache Ejako. He changed his position to your satisfaction on certain issues.
Substantially on certain issues, but on other issues, he actually brought evidence to substantiate some of the things that he said, but also changed his position on some other issues, and to the satisfaction of the minority.
So it means that the minority were not influenced by anything apart from the fact that there was he was agreeing to change his positions, or he brought evidence. That's the only thing that influenced the minority.
Yeah, I mean, it was, when we went into conclave, it was based on satisfaction that he had brought evidence to show that there was a process in place to purchase 3 floating storage and regasification units. But then there was also evidence to show that, strictly speaking, it was 2 that had approval. The other one had not come to Parliament. And so, technically speaking, it wasn't a completed transaction. And we had the outgone Deputy Minister for Power, Honorable Jinapo, in the room, who confirmed some of the things that he said. And then on the issue of the World Bank breathing over the neck of the ex-president and other issues, he actually withdrew those ones and rendered an apology. So on that basis, we decided that he should be approved by consensus, which is how the committee prefers to work, generally to come to a consensus on on nominees. So it was basically the reason why we approved him.
Yes. By yes.
Honorable, in that conclave meeting or the in-camera meeting, how many of you were present? Or how many honorable members were present? Or how many people were present?
I don't recall the exact number of people who were present, but I recall some of the people who were present, because I think some people also kept coming in and going out. And I recall that it was the leadership of both sides, and that was Honorable Chairman Sabonsu, Honorable Haruna Idrisu was there, then Honorable Muntaka was there. We had the chairman of the committee who was there. We also had, I think, Honorable Ahin was in the room. Honorable Eric was also in the room. Honorable Ablakwa was also in the room. I think basically those were the ones that I remember who were in the room.
Was Honorable Wacha Jakon now?
Yeah, Honorable Wacha Jakon was in the room. Honorable Yao Safma Futu was also in the room.
Was Honorable Sohini in the room?
Honorable Sohini was in the room.
Now, at the time you went into that conclave meeting, had the alleged bribery allegation come out?
The bribery allegation came out through Radio Gold. And Radio Gold started it, I think, in the afternoon. And in the form of a breaking news. This must have been around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it went into social media, it went online. I got wind of it online. I didn't hear it, but I just saw it on WhatsApp that Radio Gold had said this. Then subsequently, I got a call from Radio Gold asking for an interview with me on this issue that they had put out. I thought about it and said, okay, I would grant them the interview and I'll tell them what I knew about it because I was a member of the committee.
So before the conclave meeting, you had already granted interview to Radio Gold?
Yes, I had granted the interview at 5 p.m., the 5 o'clock news.
Before the in-camera meeting?
Yeah, before the conclave. The conclave must have been about 7 p.m.
In that conclave meeting, did you raise those issue of bribery allegation?
No, I didn't raise any issue.
You didn't raise any issue, all right. Thank you.
So at the time you made a confirmation or you spoke to Radio Gold from your own evidence here, Did you have any evidence, apart from the rumor, that Honorable Boachi Ajakon had brought money to be distributed to you?
As I indicated on radio and here before this committee, at the time we took the monies, we assumed that it was our committee allowances. And then we heard the rumor, so we asked our Chief Whip, Honorable Muntaka, to do an investigation.
So what you actually confirmed to Radio Gold was based on the rumor you heard, am I right?
Was based on Honorable Muntaka's statement to us.
Honorable Ayariga, your interview with Joy FM, you stated that you made a statement, I think it's page 5. You said that if I may read, now the chairman of the committee said in the second tape that you played, first and foremost, I want to read from this part. You see, I'm talking about equalization now. That's what I want to talk about. Because, to tell you, the first deputy speaker made some comments about equalization. But you see, you see, the word equalization came from him. And him, you are talking about the first deputy speaker. He raised the issue and said, why did I put out the information there that Ajako had given money to him to give to us? And I replied to him, well, you said your mama is corrupt, so your corruption should also be out there. Then he retorted and said, so it is equalization. Then everyone in the room laughed. There was no apology, there was no retraction. He asked why I put it out, and I said, yes, this man says your mama is corrupt. So he also engages in corruption. We should also put that out so everybody will see. So this is what happened in the in-camera meeting. You still stand by that?
Yes, that was what happened there. I think the chairman, the honorable member, asked me whether I raised the issue of corruption. And I said, no, I didn't raise the issue of corruption at the in-camera meeting because it was the first deputy speaker and the chairman of the appointment who raised the issue. That's why I said to the earlier question, I didn't raise the issue. He raised the issue.
But both of them were there. There were a number of people there, including Honorable Boachi Ajakon and Honorable Muntaka. But from your response, you didn't suggest to them directly, they were there, that you gave money to this person to give to us. You didn't suggest it.
At the time we were discussing this, I don't think
it was opportune.
The two of them were not there. Honorable Yawasaf Mafo and Honorable Ejaku were not there. They had left. You know, after we went through the facts and were satisfied, we asked them to leave so that we will now behave as if we were a committee in session to review their the evidence or their answers to our questions, so that the question will be put to us as a committee, whether or not we were approving them by consensus. And that was when, after the chairman had gone through those motions, then he raised this issue. And then when he raised that issue, he got that response.
When you say everyone in the room laughed, do you think it's a laughing matter? You think that such matters are laughing matters, or it was why did it generate laughter? Was it said? I don't understand.
Well, why it generated laughter, I don't know, but somehow it generated laughter, and so
okay.
Why it generated? I mean, a serious matter can generate laughter, so the fact that people laugh doesn't mean it's not a serious matter, but it generated laughter in the room.
Excuse me. So it means that, would you say that at that point, accusations were being made and people felt that they were being called upon to defend themselves, or matters were being said in jest? I mean, at that point, as far as this is concerned, would you say that that was what happened, or it was serious, or it was light?
I don't know, but the point is that we're not called into that meeting
for that purpose,
to discuss the the issue that was on Gold FM. We were called into that meeting because the speaker had directed us to go out and resolve the issue of whether or not we wanted to approve the two people by consensus. So that was the agenda of that meeting. And it was after we had resolved that issue, and the speaker was still in the chair. If you recall, the speaker was still in the chair, and they were calling us to go out because they had debated the report for a sufficiently lengthy period of time, and they wanted to put the question, and they wanted to hear from the leadership. So there was really no time to discuss the issues that chairman had raised. But frankly, when he raised it and got that response, and he himself said, so it is equalization, and then everybody laughed, we all just walked out of the room.
So, Honorable, based upon what you just narrated and your own statement there, would you agree with me that your statement, yes, this man says John Mahama is corrupt. So if he also engages in corruption, we should also put it out that so that everybody will see. Would you agree with me that it is only meant to be light-hearted and not to be seriously taken?
I don't know how you define that, because we had already put it out there. I mean, the radio station called me about what I knew, and I confirmed. So based on what I had heard from the minority chief whip, so the information was out there. I don't understand what you mean by whether it should be taken lighthearted or it should be taken seriously, but the information was out there. He was raising the issue with us. The reason why I came back the following morning was to say that I did not say I was withdrawing the statement. I did not say I had made it up for equalization. It was rather the chairman of the appointments committee who introduced the word equalization into the conversation. And that was all that I was trying to point out when I granted the interview to Joy FM, because the Saturday morning shows, the whole conversation hovered around whether I and my colleagues had contrived that story just for the purposes of political equalization. And I was simply trying to point out that no, I had said what I knew, and that was it. I mean, a radio station puts out a story, and then I am part of a group of people who ought to know what happened, because they said he gave it to the appointments committee. I'm on the appointments committee, and I'm on the minority side of the appointments committee, and I had relayed to them what I knew, and then the chairman had come to say, no, I had withdrawn. I had said I made it up for political equalization. So I said, no, I didn't make this up for political equalization.
Honorable, I just want to find out why you didn't ask Honorable Ejako when you had the chance to meet him the second time about the bribery or about the money, but you rather went the next day on radio to talk about it.
Why I didn't ask him? Well, I mean, at that point, it wasn't the issue. The issue at that point was a specific instruction by the speaker that you have an issue with this nominee because he said Ghana had bought 3 floating storage regasification units, and you said they are not 3, they are less than 3. The man says he has brought evidence to show that there were 3. And the second thing is you had an issue with him because he had said that the World Bank was breathing over the neck of the ex-president. So those were your 2 issues. So can you go out? He has been invited. If you recall, it was even in the chamber that the speaker announced that the two people had been, in fact, it was a majority leader who announced that the two people were in the building. So on the basis of that, we're asked there and then to go and meet them and resolve those two issues. So we concentrated on resolving those two issues because really that was the mandate we had from the speaker at that time.
Honorable, when Honorable Jakon left and the rest of the committee members were together, did the issue of the 3,000 cedis come up?
I think I had earlier indicated that the chairman of the appointments committee brought it up. That was when he, but he didn't bring it up in the context of, did you receive 3,000 Ghana cedis? He brought it up in the context of, you say I have collected money from Ajako and given to you. And he got the response that I gave him. And he then retorted, and then everybody laughed about it, and we left. So it came up, but he reasoned it, not me, reason it.
Okay, Honorable. At the time the issue was raised by the Honorable First Deputy Speaker, Muntaka was present, right? Honorable Muntaka was present.
Yes, I think he was there, yeah.
Did he ever say or admit that he had taken money from Jose Wusu to be given to you? Did he? At that time, did he ever say that?
At that time, nobody spoke, apart from the conversation that I told you about. Nobody spoke. We all just left the room because we were told that the speaker was waiting for us because the House had debated the report, and they wanted to put the question, and they were expecting us in the chamber to come and then present the decision that we had approved, two of them by consensus. So really, there wasn't discussion. As I said, it was that conversation, and you put out there that I have taken money from Ejako, and then that reply, and then he said, so it's political equalization. Then everybody in the room laughed, and then we all just streamed out and rushed into the chamber.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. This business of a report has been done. People have different views, and then you continue meeting leadership. Is it normal? Is it normal in parliamentary party? From your experience, is it normal?
Yes, I think that the duty of a majority leader, as much as possible, is to build consensus. That is to bring both the minority and majority together on every issue, every decision. And so a good majority leader will pursue consensus decision-making up to the very point where it becomes impossible for him or her to achieve consensus before he or she will bulldoze his or her way through by vote. So up to the very last minute, a good majority leader will seek to build consensus. It's good for even the nominee's reputation that they were approved by consensus and not by a divided House. So it is very much the business of, a normal thing in the House, that if you can be patient and pursue a matter up to a point so that the decision can be by consensus, you do that. And the speakers always encourage that. They would push both sides to work towards consensus. And I think that was exactly what the speaker was doing. And I think also in this case, because the senior minister was involved, and this is a very high-profile appointment, and for somebody of his stature, it would be good that if there are knotty issues that could be resolved by some more few minutes of dialogue, you encourage it. So I think that was what the Speaker and the Majority Leader were accommodating. But the good thing is that ultimately it led to that outcome where there was consensus.
So am I right in saying that the minority, in finally agreeing with the majority, was not influenced by anything apart from the fact that the position had changed and also the higher calling of office? You have just introduced the fact that you didn't want such high-profile minister, energy minister to a high-profile minister, to have this tag of, if you can call it a tag, of not being approved by consensus on their head. Am I right in deducing that from you?
I think what I've said is that ultimately there was a consensus, and that consensus was based on the fact that up to the last minute, those two nominees came to the House and they were given an opportunity to address the concerns raised by the minority, and they did satisfactorily address the concerns raised by the minority. And based on they satisfying the minority, we changed our position, and then we agreed to approve them by consensus.
Honorable Mahama Ayariga, from your narration before this committee so far, would you say that upon hindsight consideration, you still believe or think that Honorable Boakye Agyarko brought money to be distributed to members of the committee? Upon hindsight, after all the statements made on the floor of the House, upon all the discussions, from the decision of the committee to reach a consensus, would you still stand by that rumor you heard?
There was, there are some facts, there are facts, that the minority chief whip asked us to come to his office and take the money. It's a fact, I took the money. That later we heard rumors is also a fact. That we asked him to investigate and then get back to us on the source of the money is also a fact that I can testify to. That he told us that the money was coming from Boakye Agyarko through the chairman of the committee. That one too is something he said to us at the meeting of the minority caucus members of the appointments committee. That Radio Gold somehow got the story and called me, and I granted them an interview saying the things that you have in the transcript there is also a fact. Subsequently, the minority chief whip denied actually giving us money and saying...
You'll be giving evidence, so you concentrate on your facts.
Yes, so those are facts.
I think that is also a fact that you said that you hadn't received money directly from Honorable yourself.
Yes, I also said as a fact that I never received money directly from Honorable Agyarko, and then also I never also received money directly from Honorable Joe Osei Owusu. Those are also facts.
And it is also a fact that you have no basis of verifying the rumors that you heard.
That is why we asked the whip to find out, because he gave us the money. So we asked him, go and find out and come back and give us a report, because we thought it was a committee allowance, but these are rumors out there. So at the end of the day, it is what the minority chief whip says that holds sway. That's what holds sway.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, maybe last question.
But he said that. You know, we have a habit, if you see us conferring, we have a habit where we end, and we are just about ending, to go back to the terms of reference and ask you questions based on terms of reference. Even though it may sound repetitive, bear with us and answer the question. So I'll ask, the terms of reference are here. I'll first of all ask the honorable member for Jabin. The honorable member for Jabin to ask the first question.
Honorable, as per the terms of reference, we would also want to find out if truly there were attempts to bribe members of the appointments committee.
I think I have given you what I know. And when Radio Gold asked me whether I considered that money as bribery, I said, well, I hadn't done any business with the nominee at that time for him to, is said to have given me, to be given money. So I can only give you the facts as I know them. The evaluation of the facts is the job of this committee. Whether my facts, my evidence is corroborated or not corroborated is entirely the job of this committee. I cannot answer these questions. These are questions that I believe in law. It is for the committee to evaluate not just my evidence, but every other evidence, and then decide what answer it will give to that. But I can only come and tell you just what I know.
So when we ask you the question, you must ask, you can answer yes, no, you don't know, you think you've already given the evidence, or you can also even say that you refuse to answer the question. But you cannot stop us from answering the question. We'll continue to ask the question, and I'm sure you will also evaluate the evidence. So that you'll be asked the second question. Yes, the second question will be asked by Honorable Banda.
Mr. Chairman.
No, don't speak. No, don't speak. Honorable Ayariga, don't speak. If you speak, it means you are speaking back at me. Don't speak, please. We have come to the end. Okay, speak. Shouldn't be a dictator. Speak.
Chairman, you are not a dictator. Mr. Chairman, you are a very senior lawyer at the bar, and the reason why I am not answering the question is the way the terms of reference itself has been framed. So that's why I'm avoiding. If you notice from the beginning, when you asked me what I thought about the terms of reference, I told you I didn't want to evaluate the terms of reference, if you recall. And you said, no, you are not asking me to evaluate the terms of reference. You are asking me to state facts that I know. And then based on that, you will ask questions. So I don't want to get back to the point where, because to answer the question, I have to evaluate the terms of reference. And I don't want to do that.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to evaluate. You can just say yes, no. Or you can say, well, you don't think that the question you want to answer. You've already spoken enough, and your evidence is there. And we'll evaluate it. And then you must also bear in mind, as you know, that we just give recommendations to the House. So evaluate it, give our recommendations to the House. Then the House as a whole will debate our report. So we are very small people with very small powers. But we'll ask you the question, whether you like it or not. The second question is, and I'll ask you myself, do you have any evidence that Honorable First Deputy Speaker Joseph Osei-Osu took money from the Energy Minister Boacha Ajako and gave it to the Majority Chief Whip Alhaji Mubarak Mohammed Mutaka? Do you have any direct evidence?
Direct evidence? The money was given to me. The person who gave us the money was
Let me ask you a question again. Even, do you have any evidence that Honorable Joe Oseusu took money from Bachajaku and gave it to Alhaji Mubarak to be given to you? Do you have any evidence?
I think I've already answered your question that this is what...
Or was hearsay? Or you were told by Alhaji Mubarak?
Yes.
Mutaka?
Yes. So it's now your job to evaluate the weight of my evidence, whether you consider it hearsay for which you will not give it weight or not. But I just tell you what I know and stick to what I know. I'm not here to evaluate evidence. I think that is your job.
Okay. So you agree. So based on the evidence that you have given to us, you have not given us any direct evidence. You've told us that you never spoke to Joe Oseusu, never took money from Joe Oseusu directly, and never also took money from Honorable Bachajaku directly. Am I correct?
That's very true.
Okay. No, I've finished. What do you want to know? No, tell me.
There have either been any previous attempts?
No.
It's not necessary.
You do. But it won't. No. Honorable Ayariga, there will be one or two follow-ups to my question.
Yes, sir.
Based upon what you have just, your last answer, if, sorry, I think it's a conditional question.
Honorable Ayariga, I think you've made your position clear. I think you've repeated your story. You've been consistent, and therefore you've been consistent. I didn't say I haven't evaluated evidence. You've been consistent. That doesn't mean that that is not an evaluation of the way to be given to your evidence. And so I will say that, but why are you packing your books? I haven't discharged you yet. Wait and let me speak.
I won't be using those materials for now.
You know, I can ask you to stay for a while. You know that.
Chairman, you have all the powers.
Thank you. I thought you didn't know that. Anyway, I think that we will discharge you. And if there's any need for further information, we will not hesitate to call you back. As you know, this is not a court of law. It's just a committee of inquiry, and we are all working to find out the truth. Thank you very much for attending on to the House. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before you go, the copies of the transcript of today's proceedings will be given to you by Wednesday. And when is, yes, sir? Yes.
Chairman, I didn't want to appear to be but as the transcripts,
yes,
there are some very grave renditions.
Errors in it.
Yeah, okay, that you must note. Otherwise, if they remain the way they are, they say the direct opposite. For instance, on page 4 of 59.
Which of the transcripts, please?
The one that, there's only one transcript that has been given to us.
Oh, okay.
Just one transcript. Verbatim report, public hearing of the special committee on the bribery allegation against the chairman and some members of the appointments committee.
That's
February 15th.
The evidence of Honorable the chairman.
Yes.
You know, the difficulty I have is that the person, you correct, under the rules, you correct your own transcript. When you have the opportunity to give evidence, like you have the opportunity, you can refer to another person's evidence and say that and speak at variance to it. But now that, so you correct your own evidence. So if it's 202.
Just to give you a...
Pardon me?
Just to give you an example.
No, I won't allow it to go.
Okay. No, but
excuse me. No, let me just tell you. 2021. The evidence of every witness shall be taken down, a copy of it sent to him. The witness may, within 7 days from the date of receipt of the copy, suggest corrections due to inaccurate reporting, and the evidence shall be printed with such corrections as may be approved by the chairman. So if a witness gives evidence that you disagree with, I mean, if the evidence you've given, if another witness comes or the previous witness disagrees with what you said, he can't correct your evidence because that is your evidence.
Chairman, actually, those portions have nothing to do with me. So it's not even about whether I agree with them or not. But after this, I'll show them to whoever wrote them, because I believe that the person didn't mean to say those things, or the person couldn't have meant to say those things. It has nothing to do with me. Just, so it's only helpful to the committee to advert their mind to it, that's all.
Thank you, but my committee members are insisting that 2021 still stands.
I agree with you.
And I stand by 2021.
No, I do agree with you.
But you also agree that the whole... Okay, thank you very much. I think that if you have any concerns, you know the method by which you can raise it.
Yeah.
But at this stage, you have been discharged.
Thank you.
And your evidence will be given to you.
Okay.
And when you have any corrections, then you make those corrections. It will be given to you by Wednesday.
By Wednesday.
So please, it's not, if you can spend a day doing it, then we shall take it as the certified true copy of the evidence you gave. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The sitting of the special committee investigating bribery allegations brought against the vetting committee or the appointment committee in Parliament just ending. Mahama Ayariga has just had his turn and he has just left. Consistent is how the chairman of the special committee, Joe Gatti, describes his account before the committee today. And if you follow the discussions, he has not really said anything different from what he said today, basically. But there have been some detailed answering of the questions that were there. First, he was asked what to speak his mind or to say what he knew about whether or not some monies were taken or whether or not some monies were given. He starts narrating the issues from Radio Gold and the fact that Radio Gold had already put out a story and got in touch with him for a confirmation from him. And I don't know why he's still sitting now, but we can take... Okay, well, it appears that he keeps getting ready to go and then getting down to some questions. Well, let's see what's happening there right now.
Mahama Ayariga, I just wanted to tell you that we will be grateful if you will not discuss what you said, give commentary on it on social media or give radio interviews. Of course, you can. We are not gagging you, but we believe that we must all help to bring the work of this committee to a successful end. When we bring out our report, of course, people, even judges have judgments, people comment on it. But I think that it will bode well for all of us if you allow the committee to do its work without giving commentary on the evidence you have given. Do you have any objection to that?
Well, I think this is a directive that came from the Speaker. And since the 27th, no, since the 31st, when the Speaker gave that directive, I have not commented on this matter either on radio, television, or on social media. So I have respected the Speaker's directive and will continue to respect the directive until such time that it is opportune to discuss your report.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
But basically, as we can see, or if you listen, as we can see, he was called back. So the chairman could communicate to him the need for him to remain silent, perhaps, and not to run commentaries on the issues. And if you have followed Mahama Ayariga, he did grant us an interview on Friday, but he did not deal with the substantive matter. He just spoke generally to it. And so he says that he's respecting that rule. He's not committed. We can now go over back.